I called this video the herbs for nightmare diabetic, and I'm not gonna tell you who the nightmare diabetic is because I'm just too good to be a nightmare. But speaking hypothetically, okay, so yeah, I've had diabetes for a very long time, and it was type 2. My blood sugar was very high, and then after about 10 years ago, the doctor put me on insulin, and now I have two kinds of insulin that I take. I take Homolog, which is fast acting, and I take Lantus, which is the slow acting. It keeps me going throughout the day. So I've had all the symptoms and problems that a type 1 or type 2 diabetic has, and I had dealt with them with herbs and medication, and now very strong medication. So I'm a very good person a lay person to talk about what to do with a lot of these things. The problem that a lot of diabetics have, and has nothing to do with herbs or medication, is called the Nile. You know, the river in Egypt. It runs through Egypt. Okay, so yeah, if diabetes is an old disease, and there are many medications and herbs that can very effectively deal with it, and it's not necessary to get depressed or give up or anything like that. Even though I'm not healthy at all. My body doesn't function right, and there is nothing natural about my digestion. In fact, I use many tips and tricks and medications and herbs to make it even remotely function correctly. So it's okay. And once you accept that you are diabetic and you have problems, but these problems are not impossible to fix, they're almost always relatively easy to address, then hey, it's just a roadblock. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, and yeah, there is no need to get depressed about it, and there are ways of dealing with it. What really pissed off my friend, he's diabetic, and is that he would take all kinds of medications and things. In the morning when he checked, his blood sugar is always 250. So there is a way to deal with that. There are many ways actually, but when you can initially give yourself a shot of Homolog to make sure that the baseline that the sugar is at, it drops to 150 or below, so you're starting your day nicely regardless of what the body is doing. When you give yourself a shot of Homolog, a fast-acting insulin, you bring that baseline down, and then later on, a couple of hours down after breakfast or before, whatever, you can take the long-acting insulin or take your medication. Even though your body is very unhealthy, it will feel as if you're like a healthy person, and your sugar is slightly elevated because you already brought the baseline down. Anyhow, this is something to ponder about. And then besides the Nile, the river, in Egypt, besides that one, I was in the endocrinologist office. I'm supposed to go there every 6 months or 3 months, and sometimes gives me different medication. Anyhow, last time he gave me Genovia, but I was in the office, And when you go into these offices where the diabetics congregate, well, talk about bad energy. It's because there is another disease that's associated with diabetes, and it's called dark depression, or a deep form of depression. So this happens to a lot of diabetics once they figure out that, hey, there is no, I'm not healthy, I am actually diabetic, and they have to go through this process of dealing with their depression. And the depression comes from giving up very easily, and also being in denial that you are diabetic. So in these offices, you can feel this energy if you really want it. If you want to figure out that, hey, if you're psychic, you should go to the endocrinologist office and just hang around the other patients. But it, so what? So what? I'm diabetic, and I might have at times depression. I don't personally. I have not had any sadness or depression for a very long time. In fact, my personality, as I personally know it, is very upbeat, and I practice a lot of spiritual practices. The spirit makes your brain secrete endorphins, which means it's like a happiness pill. It's always. I mean, have you ever looked at some of the preachers, and so some of them that have the spirit? You can see that the guy might look like in his 50s or 60s. They look like they're 30 because of all the happiness and joy. And there is nothing that can ruin that. But hey, I'm setting up an age. I'm 57, and I have become mindful of this issue, and that, hey, the depression can be part of this process. But I see it more in other diabetics than me. But I have discovered some herbs that help with that, and I will go through them right now. But the whole philosophy is that I am managing my diabetes, so the diabetes cannot become a hindrance for me, so I can live. So the basic idea is to live a happy life, as much to the normal way of living as a 30-year-old that doesn't have diabetes. This is the plan. My plan isn't to live in order that I can manage the diabetes. Diabetes is a disease. It's like I had cold, but my life doesn't revolve around diabetes. It's something that I have no choice but to deal with, and I am dealing with it. So let's talk about herbs that help diabetic depression. Okay, and the first one I told you is the faith or spirit, that if things are going right in other departments, in devotion to God, that can overshadow diabetes or diabetic depression. But then also having the right attitude and not letting something dominate your life. Okay, so that's one way of dealing with diabetic depression. The other one is bringing the baseline sugar down to, regardless of what the body says, with fast-acting insulin, bring it down below 150. Okay, and third one is not to freak out when the sugar has gone up, because there are ways to dealing with it. Okay, so let's deal with bringing the sugar down with herbs before we get into the diabetic depression, because this is the first stumbling block. Many older cultures, they know about a lot of remedies, a lot of herbs for bringing the sugar down, and I use cinnamon powder. Okay, and cinnamon is a very good herb. It's also extremely available in powder form. You can and also in the little stick form. I buy both of them. I actually buy the powder. I got a nice packet, an ounce, for $1 in the dollar store, and also you can get the same packet, roughly same weight, but the cinnamon sticks. Okay, so I put cinnamon. It does have a slightly sugary taste to it. It's not sugar, but it feels sweet. But I put the cinnamon on anything, on soup, on puddings, I drink it with tea, everywhere. Okay, and in Iranian food and pastry, they use the cinnamon extensively. Indians too, and then the steaks, I buy them, and I take one steak and put it in my tea, and when I finish the tea, I take the stick out. I don't throw the stick away. I clean up the cup, and then the next tea I put the stick back, and this gradually infuses into the tea. Okay, that's one form of taking the cinnamon in. And then there is a herb. Indians, they know a lot about this, and it's called bitter melon. Okay, and I buy these off of eBay from farmers, and usually it's very good quality, and the farmer that's selling it is got 100% approval rating or whatever. A lot of them have very high approval rating, so I know the stuff is what it says it is. And I use the powder form of bitter melon with tea, with soup, with anything, and that also reduces the sugar generally in the body. My friend was working with other shuttle drivers in the airport, and he buy the whole bitter melon, and it is like a big cucumber looking kind of thing, and he cook it up like you cook squash or something like that, and then he eat it with his regular food. Okay, that's another form of taking bitter melon, and in that form you will get greater quantity of it. But yeah, the powder is just as good, and I guess that quantity of cinnamon powder or bitter melon powder is as valuable, as important as taking it in too. Okay, so that's another form of herb that's very good. Then the third herb that helps diabetes, brings the sugar down, and also helps another way that diabetics is I buy a great amount of garlic. I either buy the whole clove or I buy it. Sometimes they sell it in packets, which with the cloves that have already been deskinned. Okay, I like that a lot, and I got from the dollar store a whole packet of skinned garlic. I do not cook or do anything with the garlic, because any kind of heat that you apply to the garlic, or you dry it or do anything, it quickly kills all the ingredients that make it work. Okay, so this is really important, not to cook garlic, not to dry it up, not to powder it, nothing. Well, you can buy the powder too, but I don't do that. I will usually buy the raw, and when I'm eating any kind of food, even with soup, I take a bite Not a whole lot, just if I have one clove, I'll take like a third of a bite out of that one and eat my soup and stuff. And I absolutely don't give a shit if I smell like garlic, because I will just go and use the mouthwash or brush or whatever, and it does not matter because there are no not too many women lined up, but you know. But also garlic is aphrodisiac. It helps with erectile dysfunction, which a lot of diabetics have,